Hi everyone, let's talk about plumbing. Sometimes the plumbing system gets overlooked, but it's an important part of your building. A complete plumbing system provides adequate water and removes waste from the building. There's three major parts. They are the water supply system, the plumbing fixtures, and the drainage waste vent system. We'll cover all of these. We're also going to talk in this module about water conservation and some code issues that have to do with plumbing. Let's start by discussing the water supply system. We want to know, where does the water come from and how does it get eventually to our plumbing fixtures? Most buildings are going to be connected to a municipal water supply system. Although there are some private water systems, you'll find occasionally a rural residents will be connected to well water, and there are also some rainwater systems. Residences and your smaller buildings, like most buildings, will get their water through the municipal water supply. It's delivered by a network of pipes that are typically buried underneath the street system. All right, and so we see it here in the picture. Here's our water main. All right, and it's going to flow from the water main to the house. All right, there's going to be a water meter and a shut-off valve, and then into the house. You'll also hear this water supply system called domestic water. For a larger commercial or a multi-story building, you will find a similar system. They're going to get their water supply from the main water municipal water supply. All right, come into the building. But with those taller buildings, sometimes you need to increase the water pressure to get appropriate water pressure in the upper stories. And there's two major ways to do that. They're called down-fed and up-fed systems. In a down-fed system, which is what we're seeing in this illustration here, and is probably the least or less expensive and older technology. All right, you receive the water right here from the municipal water main, goes into a tank, and a pump pumps it all the way up to a tank on the roof. All right, and then the fixtures are fed from there. All right, and so the pressure comes from the roof, and everything is fed moving downwards. And so this cold water system right here would go and provide water to all of these fixtures on the different floors. Right. An up-fed system would not have the roof tank. Instead, they would have some different pressure tanks and multiple staged pumps. All right, so a more complicated pumping system to feed water up from the lower levels and provide the correct pressure to those higher levels. Once the water is in your building, it has to be conveyed to the point of use, to wherever you're going to wash your hands, wash your dishes, wash your body, drink the water. All right. And so let's talk about residential or smaller buildings first. There's two major ways that the water is distributed to the point of use. One is called traditional and one is called manifold. I'm going to cover traditional today. All right, so in a traditional or also called a trunk and branch system, the cold water is going to enter the house through a supply line, and that's shown in this picture right here. All right, then it runs through any water treatment devices, all right, and then through the water heater. And then after that, hot and cold water pipes are going to run parallel to each other, usually next to each other, through the walls, right? Two different takeout off points, right? And some smaller diameter branch pipes will supply your appliances and fixtures. Now, your larger commercial or your multi-story buildings are going to be fairly similar, at least conceptually, in the distribution patterns. Except for, of course, it's going to be more complicated. Your hot and your cold water may not be coming from the same place, same direction. All right. And so, therefore, in these larger buildings, we typically run the major plumbing lines, the major distribution lines through vertical plumbing chases and also sometimes horizontal plumbing chases. So, let's take a look at it in this example building. We already talked about how the water entered the building and then was pumped up to the roof. And then the cold water went directly, or not directly, but went to each of fixtures. All right. But take a look at this other pipe. This roof tank is also supplying pressure to the water heater. All right. Which then goes back up. All right. And supplies water to these fixtures in a loop type configuration. All right. So a little bit more complicated. Let's also talk about the other water system in this illustration. It's on the left-hand side. It is the fire sprinklers. So you can see that this same water tank is providing pressure to the sprinkler systems also on these different floors. All right, everybody, in this video, we introduced the idea of the water supply system and talked about how that water is distributed throughout the building. Thanks.